Hi, welcome to Cooking with English. I'm Nancy, and here is my British counterpart, Jeremy Newman.
Good morning, all.
So today we have a special treat. We're going to be making brandy butter for our Christmas pudding. So what do we need, Jeremy?
Well, first of all, we say brandy butter in England.
Of course. That's why you're here.
And which is why I'm here, to supervise this kind of thing. And we need 3 key ingredients, all of which are known to be extremely good for the health.
Okay.
The first is butter in large quantities.
Okay. And with salt or without salt?
Unsalted butter.
Unsalted butter, okay, perfect.
Fresh from the pastures of Normandy, I believe.
Lovely.
Then we have some sugar.
What kind of sugar?
Not just any old sugar.
Okay.
Some would call it confectioner's sugar.
Okay.
Others would call it icing sugar. It's very fine. If you look carefully, it's almost like flour.
Okay, great.
And the key ingredient, of course, all the way from where my sister lives, cognac. Nancy, being a rather chic girl, has bought some rather chic cognac. Normally cheap brandy will do. Hence the name Brandy Butter, because in England we used to call cognac brandy. And so those are the key ingredients. Okay,
great. Let's get started. We're going to need either a hand mixer or we can use one of these, okay, electric mixers to mix the butter. So what do we start with first? What are we going to put in here?
The butter.
Okay, great. So how much butter do we need?
Alors, we were looking at this earlier, and the kind of basic thing would be to have 100 grams of butter and 225 grams of sugar, but we're going to go for double bubble here. So we're going to have 200 grams of butter and 450 grams of sugar. Okay,
so we're going to double this up. So I'm just going to make it easy for myself. I'm just going to cut 50 grams off, all right? And we're just going to put everything in there. So we're going to put that in. And what speed should we be putting it at?
Very slow speed, I would say.
Great.
Because we don't want it to churn or anything like that, do we?
So I'm going to put this down. And I'm going to put it at about a 1. We're going to start off with that.
Is that the slowest speed?
Yes, it is. So now we've finished mixing that for now. We're going to stick in the sugar.
Softening, so we need to get the sugar in. So
how's the butter?
The butter is looking rather splendid, if I may say.
Great. So what we did is we actually changed the attachment to a paddle attachment.
We did. Nobody saw that, but we did.
We did. And now we're going to stick in the brandy.
We're going to add this. This is a very exciting moment for me.
Okay.
Because this is when it becomes, a bit special.
Exactly. This is when it becomes a brandy butter.
This is when it becomes, because this could otherwise just have some sad destination as a cake or something like that, or just But whereas now it starts to become festive, shall we say?
Right. Super. Okay, so what do we do here?
We'll just chuck the bottle in and that should be fine.
No, we don't want to do that.
It's only half a bottle.
So we're going to be measuring how many tablespoons?
Very carefully. Well, the important thing with the brandy is we add it slowly.
Okay. So we're going to start off with... There's a certain amount of
feeling involved, because if you add too much, it can curdle.
Okay.
And we don't want that, especially as we have no sugar, no more sugar to remove the curdling. Look at that precision, isn't that beautiful?
So we're going to be starting off with...
Can I start the machine?
Yes.
Because you... don't slosh it in, just add, a little bit at a time. Yeah.
Oh, wow, that is pretty hard. That's like cement. So this is normal, apparently.
Yeah, well, it'll soften up more the more the more brandy we put in.
Alrighty. So let's give that a go.
So should we give the fans a quick last view of the paddle with the brandy butter on it? I mean, there it is.
Yeah, and folks. We can see that it is easily falling off here.
Yeah, it really is. Gorgeous texture.
Oh yeah, very nice.
Pretty punchy little taste, if I don't mind saying so.
Okay, great.
I think that will do it. I really do. Now we need to get it out of the big bowl and into small bowls, which then go into the fridge to wait until the Christmas pudding is ready. Okay,
so we will see you guys later serving the Christmas pudding. We took out the butter that we made yesterday. We left it in the fridge all night. The brandy butter, don't forget. And now what we're gonna do?
We're gonna try and flambe the Christmas pudding with the cognac, which was left over after making the brandy butter and after Nancy drank most of the rest of the bottle, we have a little left to flambe the Christmas pudding.
Okay, how much cognac did we put in there?
Just the correct amount, I would say. This is more of a feeling thing.
And you heated it up a little bit?
We have heated it because otherwise it won't burn.
Okay, I'm gonna get ready with a match.
Let's hope we've heated it enough, otherwise we're gonna have to do a take 2.
Okay, are we ready?
Notice the holly on
Christmas holiday on a Christmas pudding.
The Christmas pudding, which I will have to remove, otherwise we're going to burn the holly. But I think it looks rather nice, a bit like a reindeer.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, babe, get that in there.
Okay. Ooh, it's a little, yeah.
So here we are now.
It's too bad that we didn't see this side of it. Ooh!
Look at that. This is the proper French flambeing technique, where we set fire in the saucepan and add to the thing. As the brandy seeps in there, helped by the heat and the flames, it warms it up even more. But as you can see, it doesn't burn it at all.
Yeah, and this is a very beautiful presentation that you can do at your Christmas dinner.
Absolutely. And the good news is that for those of us who don't really like drinking alcohol, the fact that we flambe the brandy, what burns is the alcohol. So by the time the flames have gone out, there's no alcohol left in there. It's just a kind of very nice, very flavoursome grape juice. So it's, you know, suitable for all of our friends.
Great.
I've never seen a flambe as good as that, last as long as that. Normally in our family in England it lasts about 5 seconds, and by the time everyone's got their camera out, it's gone. So you have to do it again.
That's a great job. So it's quite nice technique that you can do, but mainly we're going to be using cognac, right?
Absolutely, yeah, because we are in France, and it is the best thing.
Now the fire's out, what do we do now?
Well, we eat it, right?
Right, but how do we serve this? I've never served a cake like this.
It's not a cake, dear, it's a pudding.
Okay.
Not to be confused. So you can serve it pretty much any way you want, but...
So how big of a slice should we eat for one person?
Alors, this is a very interesting cultural moment here with the difference of cutting cakes or puddings in France and in England. In England, we would always make a first cut like that, and I will show you how we do it.
Perfect.
And then we say, Nancy, say when.
Okay.
So I start moving the knife like this, and Nancy says when.
When.
Okay, and when she says when,
we stop.
It's a kind of a play on words, then is where I stop, and that is her portion. Alors, in France it doesn't work out like that because people don't trust each other. So if you're in a big family, the poor guy at the end of the table, he says, if everybody says when, there may not be enough left for me. So they cut it into equal parts.
Yeah.
But we just like, you know, to do the right thing and always make sure there's enough for everybody. So that's a pretty small portion. That would be a portion for a small baby in England.
What do we have in a Christmas pudding?
It's basically a lot of dried fruit. Okay, all kinds of dried fruit, and everyone can do their own if you want, according to what you have. Sultanas, raisins, apples you can put into it, figs you can put into it. All kinds of dried fruit, lots and lots and lots of dried fruit, with some suet. Alors suet is beef fat, suif in French. Yeah, not many people use that anymore. It's dried beef fat. Mix that in with loads of eggs. Some people put honey in it. Some people put golden syrup. But it's basically a mixture of dried fruits, some fat, some eggs, and usually quite a lot of different forms of alcohol, according to taste, which you don't have to do, but what's interesting is that the alcohol means that you can conserve it. We often make them this year, we will eat it next year or even the following year, and we don't keep it in the fridge or the freezer because the sugar in the fruit and the alcohol conserves it. Okay,
so it's a compact cake.
It's pretty damn compact. I tell you, there's more calories in that than you can imagine.
So how much of this butter are we going to put on top?
Again, this is dependent on age, waist size, physical activity.
Let's say
that's a pretty chunky portion for such a small portion of pudding.
Well, it smells so good. I think it's going to be great.
It's,
we're just going to let it melt in there?
We just let that kind of ease into it, get a bit of a marriage thing going.
Nice. And then we
This just makes me feel so good just looking at that. You can't imagine it.
Apparently it brings you back memories.
Oh God. It's just my absolute favorite thing of all.
So as we can see, the butter is starting to melt on this very hot cake that we heated up for 2 hours before serving it and before flambeing it. So here we go, and we can really smell the brandy. Here, taste it and tell me if it tastes like back home. And how good our butter is, really.
The only thing is I get the feeling it must be December the 25th. Because you only eat this on, that's what's so amazing.
You only eat it at Christmas.
You only eat this at Christmas. It would be sacrilege to eat this on any other day.
Perfect.
The brandy butter is great.
Great.
Just exactly the way it should be.
Excellent. So.
What a pleasure that was making and serving that with you, Nancy. I have to say that. Thank you so much for inviting me to this.
I'm very proud to have the British culture during this holiday season.
Oh, just too good. Okay. So there you go. Merry Christmas.